let us explore the right way to meditate, and then meditate like a Jedi. Whoops, wrong button. Let's try that again. Here we go. Nothing dispels the disinformation, misinformation, mythology, and superstition surrounding mindfulness and meditation, quite like neuroscience. Let us begin by considering mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we are wired to access the sympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. You'll be able to enjoy or partake in the visual aids when you join me on the tube app. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice. In a very special way. Vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is quite antithetical to the rigid and controlling tendencies inherent to concentration. But what have we evolved to notice? We have evolved to notice perceptions, such as sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We have also evolved to notice the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. If this mindfulness is the natural function of our sympathetic nervous system, then why do we sit down every 12 hours or so to formally practice? Every time we silently and mentally recite the verbs watch, or perceiving during our inhalation, we interrupt the habit of our clever cerebral cortex to actively compete against our sympathetic nervous system, and instead we set space for these two to cooperate. With each inhalation, we are wired to notice all manner of things, from the internal to the external, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with all this stuff? Meditate. Thus, let us explore the neuroscience of meditation. Every time we exhale, we are wired to effortlessly and automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, excuse me. Each time we exhale, we are wired to effortlessly and automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord we mentioned previously, like bookends. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support our physical relaxation as well as mental release of that which we noticed during our previous inhalation to the point that, excuse me, that which we noticed could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Any good English teacher could remind us that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Thus, we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand? Thus, as we could see, emptiness only makes sense when seen through a flexible worldview that accepts that not all statements are literal, requiring superstition, blind faith, or pseudo-intellectual mental gymnastics. One might ask if this relaxing and releasing is the natural behavior of our parasympathetic nervous system. Then why bother sitting in mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so? Each time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, rest, or the multisyllabic verb, cessation, during our exhalation, we are interrupting the habit of our clever cerebral cortex to actively compete against our parasympathetic nervous system. And instead, we open space for these two to cooperate in a delightfully therapeutic manner. For some of us, sitting in mindfulness and meditation for about an hour twice daily is absolutely no problem. However, some of us could require a more gradual or hedonistic approach. Thus, sitting in mindfulness and meditation for about 5 minutes once every 12 hours or so could be a very good way to start. The second week, that could be lengthened to 10 minutes every 12 hours. The third week, that could be stretched out to 15 minutes every 12 hours. Over the course of 12 weeks, one could progress by an additional 5 minutes every week, and thusly condition one's body and mind to sit for an hour every 12 hours or so. One of the benefits of this incremental approach is that it could give our body, mind, partner, pets, children, and schedule an opportunity to gently acclimate to this lifestyle enhancement. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Having completed our opening recitation, we could take a moment to shift gears. It is General Leia Organa Saturday mid-morning. Let us meditate like Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. What's the most efficient way to practice mindfulness? To silently and mentally recite the verb watch every time we feel our chest swell with breath. What is the most efficient way to practice meditation? To silently and mentally recite the verb rest every time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. So together as a team, let us sit, and breathe, and watch, and rest. It could be helpful if you rested the great knuckle at the base of your right middle finger upon the tip of your left middle finger, palms up in your lap. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 5 minutes or so. So, I'd like to recite, conversationally recite, the Cuckoo's Song of Awareness, Rigpa Kyubyung, one time conversationally and 3 times melodically. The true nature of infinite diversity is non-dual, for the wisdom of each phenomena is free of the need for a conceptual elaboration. The so-called state of just as it is inexpressible, for all manifested forms are ultimately self-perfected. As everything is already accomplished, by giving up the affliction of striving, one finds oneself naturally abiding in the effortless state. Now, I feel like there's a need to edit this as far as just the way I spaced it. So I'm going to do that toot sweet. Let's see if this fits on the page. Almost. Let's try this again. Let's go to 24 and see if that fits on the page. Barely. Okay, so let's try again. And that'll almost do. So we're going to hit... right, I think we'll just do this instead. Oh, second thought, never mind. Let's just go over here and make this a 12. Let's see if that doesn't look better. It appears to look better. Let's move the image. Okay. As everything is already accomplished, by giving up the affliction of striving, one finds oneself naturally abiding in the effortless state. Oops, that was an error. Let's go over here. Control G, 5, and let's hit go to, and close. And now I shall subject you to my chanting, which has been described as a war crime. The true nature of infinite diversity is non-dual, for the wisdom of each phenomena is free of the need for conceptual elaboration. The so-called state of just as it is inexpressible, for all manifested forms are ultimately self-perfected. As everything is already accomplished, by giving up the affliction of striving, one finds oneself naturally abiding in the effortless state. The true nature of infinite diversity is non-dual, for the wisdom of each phenomena is free of the need for conceptual elaboration. The so-called state of just as it is inexpressible, for all manifested forms are ultimately self-perfected. Final repetition. If you wish to join me, if you wish to chant with me, then I invite you to join me on the Tube app. but act while the acting is good. The true nature of infinite diversity is non-dual, for the wisdom of each phenomena is free of the need for conceptual elaboration. The so-called state of just as it is inexpressible, for all manifested forms are ultimately self-perfected, as everything is already accomplished. By giving up the affliction of striving, one finds oneself naturally abiding in the effortless state. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. Whoops, I think that was the wrong button. Let's try that again. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's third meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.